I think the fact that this movie was made is actually insane to me because this is a great introduction to Dev Patel's directorial debut. I didn't watch that many media that features Dev Patel. The only thing I know him from is fucking The Last Airbender.
I'm sorry about this film. It's a little bit shit.
Monkey Man is the first directorial debut from Dev Patel, who he also co-wrote the screenplay. He also got Jordan Peele to be a producer. That's the reason this movie was even made. It stars Dev Patel, and the plot is basically, for the sake of the review, I'm gonna call him Bobby. Basically, Bobby lost his village, his mom, to a fire that was caused by a ruthless spiritual leader and a corrupt cop who basically killed his mom. And basically, Bobby grows up to be a monkey masked fighter, which is where the name Monkey Man is. He basically works at the hotel that the frequent spiritual leader and the corrupt police officer goes to a lot of the time. So he slowly builds his way up to get up there. And shit happens. Shows his development of being a fighter, getting his revenge for his mom, and it really done well. I do think the action scenes were really well made most of the time. At some points it just felt like shaky cam, like it was like a world star hip hop iPhone recording of a fight. But there's a lot of good creative scenes with fight scenes. Like there's a scene near the middle where they fight in like some how do I say this? Place where you fuck strippers. There's a later scene that takes place in the hotel that's near the end, and it's really well done. Also really well shot. The cinematography in this movie is really good. There are some points where the fight scenes where you can tell there's a chop in the middle of there. It could be the same position, but then you can tell they were filming something else, and you could slightly see Dev Patel's character just move slightly to the left, and he continues the fight scene. Like it looks like a jump cut like that. There are some problems I have with the car chases in this movie. It felt a bit too shaky to understand what's going on. I thought Bobby was compelling and understanding. I think the slow buildup of what happened to him as a child to be revealed later on in the film was really well done, and showing like what really happened to him as a kid in the specific scene of the movie. It was beautiful, you know, not except the whole like showing of village dying and shit, but you know, it was well placed in the film. I do like how the editing show his progress of growing up with the pain, and in him seeing the man that killed his mom basically just shows really good progress of how he ended up there. Also, I do like the ending of where his character goes. It really feels like a self-alone story. It feels satisfying. It feels like it did the character right. I also like in the middle that introduces the temple full of transgender people and how it correlates with Bobby's path, where they're also a group of people that are getting screwed over in life by the corrupt, and they teach him to learn more about himself and be a better fighter. And I already know that this is going to be controversial because God forbid trans people exist in media, so it was really nice to see that. I think the problem I do have with this movie, like a huge complaint, is the pacing is a bit slow in the middle. This movie is nearly 2 hours, but at points it did feel like it was 2.5 hours. Some things just felt like a stretch, while other things felt like it went on way too quickly. But once you get through it, it is so satisfying just for the ending alone. It's not going to be a slight problem. Some people could handle slow-paced things. I like slow-paced media as well, but when they're properly placed or when they're properly used for slow pacing, it just felt out of place when everything else felt perfectly or fastly paced. Also, there's one character that they introduced that's basically not really an accomplice to the main character, but he's introduced. He basically helps him out to get to the top, and then his life is ruined because the main character becomes a terrorist, and they never question what's gonna happen to him because his life is basically ruined. Again, I do think this is a good film. I highly recommend you watch it. A lot of people are comparing it to John Wick, and I wouldn't go that far. This is his own standalone movie, and even Dev Patel said that he wasn't trying to take inspiration from John Wick. So don't look at it as a John Wick ripoff or another movie inspired by John Wick. Look at it as his own thing. And I really like this movie. Not to sound like a broken record, but I highly recommend watching this movie. If you do, tell me what you think in the comments down below. In that case, I'm giving Monkey Man a 7.5 out of 10. Moral of the story, these bitches be like dandruff because no matter how many times I get rid of them, they always stick around.
The world can wait.